When I visited David Alvarez at City Hall on a rainy morning last week, his office was, frankly, a mess. He'd pulled everything down off the bookshelves and it was now covering his desk. He and his staff were working to box up the documents that had gone through their office in the past 8 years. It would all be archived by the city clerk. I asked Alvarez if he's seen changes in how the council works together. He says it's varied over the years.
I still believe the council has not found its voice and its power in this co-equal branch of government with a strong mayor, strong council form of government. I think we've had little stints of strength in the council, but for the most part, a council that hasn't really had a vision for the city to try and have that balance of power with, along with the mayor. And it's good to have that tension. It creates for better conversations and solutions to problems. And I think it's been a lot of go along to get along still in this town. And I don't think that's good, definitely not for our communities. That's good for the big interests, the people who want to see stadiums built and convention centers expanded and things like that. But people who want potholes filled and sidewalks fixed or built. Doesn't really speak to them. And I think that's where the council really, when it finds that strength, we're going to see a huge shift in San Diego.
So I asked him why he thinks it's been like that, where the council is just going along to get along.
Well, because once you come into this building that you're in, into this floor that you're sitting here with me at, it becomes very insular, and people, it's like groupthink, and people just talk to the same people, often forgetting who they represent and how they got elected and what they were asked to do when they got elected. I think there's a lot of that. You saw that in some of the election results, honestly, and I think once that mentality changes, and I think electorally we're seeing that the people are demanding more of the representatives, then the response will be there.
In the election, the Labor Council and some of the unions backed Council President Myrtle Cole, who ended up losing, and Antonio Martinez, who also ended up losing. So I asked Alvarez if he sees a change in their influence in the city.
I don't know that I see a change. I think they represent voices that are important for us to listen to. Every voice is important for us to listen to, and they certainly represent, a voice that is important. But I think the message is, how do we always put community first? And how do we work with community as employee groups, labor unions, businesses, the corporate folks who were more involved perhaps in another election like in District 2. How do we really listen to the voice of the community and work with that rather than impose our views and impose what we believe is best for them? I think that's the message from this election.
Last year, Alvarez said he was running for county supervisor and started raising money. But recently he told Voice of San Diego that he was reconsidering. So I asked him where he was at in the decision now.
What it comes down to for me is, can we have government that really reflects community? And can we have a government that's going to function? I have to say, since I've been here, and it's only been 8 years, but a lot has changed in terms of how people treat each other. A lot of respect has been lost in when you disagree. There has been a lot of behavior that we wouldn't think is okay of our children in a school, on school ground, backstabbing and bullying. And I'm not saying I was a victim to that, but I certainly don't ever want to be associated with that. For me, it's really about making the community a better place. And for a lot of people, it's become almost like a game of how do I win and how do I gain power over you, and that's not what it's about for me. And so I'm hoping that my time away, which is going to be seriously away from this, allows me to just reflect on whether I can be part of reestablishing that ethic that I think is required in government, and can I be effective at it?
For now, Alvarez is planning on starting a business that will focus on cross-border relations. Claire Trageser, KPBS News.